So I've been working with the Respectful Relationships Education project that's been rolled out by the Department of Education and Training. So I've been in that role for the last 12 months when the project started. Prior to that, I was doing respectful relationships work in maternal child health, so overseeing a program called Baby Makes 3 that some of you might be familiar with. So it's looking at bringing a gender lens, I guess, to parenting relationships and looking at respectful relationships in that context, given that we know that's a peak time for family violence to often first occur or to escalate. So yeah, I guess, and then my background sort of nursing, but I've always had an interest in prevention, I guess, having seen all the issues from a hospital perspective. So over my career I've sort of then moved into health promotion and sort of public health, so came at it from that angle. Yep.
Thanks, Libby. Gail.
From Parents Victoria perspective, when the initiative was originally announced by our Minister, obviously as an education stakeholder, the Minister's office was in contact with us in relation to the announcement and rollout. And obviously right from the beginning we had questions in relation about how parents would go on the journey and those conversations. So we've been intrinsic and having conversations with the Department of Education through that space. What probably has been the next wave is in relation about how we support families at the school level when schools work with the program and how best they navigate those conversations in partnership with families. So that's the bigger piece of work, which I'm really looking forward to the discussion today and hearing the voices, because I know there's some great work and some pockets, but I know there's also some challenges for our practitioners and for our leaders as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Kate?
So from a youth work background, I think there was probably some studies came out in the late 90s, early 2000s about relationships between adolescent boys and girls. And as part of just being a youth service provider for what was then Manningham Youth and Family Services, we developed some programs to run in high schools then. Probably the next step, I do a lot of work with the Migrant Information Centre with refugees and newly arrived migrant families, and we find that just culturally there's a lot of kind of traditional patriarchy in those cultures, and then coming to Australia can be a bit of a challenge to work through that stuff for everybody, mums and dads and kids. So we started developing some programs for EAL and culturally and linguistically diverse families, so doing that stuff, direct service delivery for the Migrant Information Centre, which we still do. I'm missing one of those today. The most recent one, and the one I think I'm here to talk about the most, is last year when they were rolling out the pilot clusters for the quadruple R program. Was working with Montmorency Primary School and a few other ones to develop some ways of talking about this in schools. And the program that we did there last year was working with student action teams and a parent action team around discussing and challenging gender equity issues in schools.